Today's guest is a real-life superhero. The first time I heard about him, I really could not believe that he was real. He holds 26 official Guinness World Records for feats that were long believed to be fatal or just outright impossible. He's run a half marathon above the Arctic Circle barefoot. He's remained completely submerged in ice for nearly 2 hours, and he climbed Mount Everest wearing only shorts. He's also hung more than a mile off the ground by a single finger, run an entire marathon in the Namib Desert without drinking a single drop of water, and swam underneath the ice of a frozen ocean for almost the entire length of a football field on a single breath. So please, help me in welcoming the man who can raise his core body temperature while submerged in an ice bath, the Iceman himself, Wim Hof.
The power to adapt to the stressor in general. We lost this connection is because we wear clothes all the time and we live in a comfort zone behavior. We think we can control nature, but by being non-stimulative in our behavior, we lost the connection in the depth of our physiology. We are able to adapt to anything. We are built to be able to adapt without stress into any stressful situation and get a solution. The body knows. But because we got into this comfort zone behavior hundreds of years, our genetics have changed, our physiology has changed, everything has changed. And we lost actually the full power of the mind. And I'm here to bring it back. I did many studies already because I don't like speculation. I go through study, the scrutiny, and let any scientist prove me wrong, because I think there is more than meets the eye. And yes, I could resist the bacteria. And how did I learn to do that and to pass it on? Because it's already there in us. It only needs to awaken. Willfully being able to get into the bone marrow and release the T and B cells in case of inflammation. And inflammation, I tell you, is the cause of any disease.
Did you just say that you can willfully control apoptosis?
Yes, anybody can.
Okay.
For that we have the breathing exercises, and it has been shown in the comparative study. The endotoxin normally creates inflammation, and thus uncontrolled shivering, all over agony, headaches, and fever. And the people really get sick after being injected with the bacteria, E. coli. And that's normal. But it was not normal to be able to inoculate that reaction. How did we do that? By breathing exercises that are like controlled hypoxia, where through the brainstem, the fight and flight suddenly activates the adrenaline and resets the body. And resetting the body is going past our comfort zone conditioning, going back in our primordial state, the way nature meant it to be, and that is being able effectively to battle dis-ease. Very simple, very effective, very accessible for any human in the world. And then we go a step further. A step further is the last study wherein I was exposed to cold water, and just by a thought I was able to make the skin temperature not going down while I was exposed to cold water on my skin, ice water.
Your skin temperature didn't go down?
Yes, and normally it goes down. That is what everybody thinks, isn't it? And yes, 74 people before me, they did it and they saw all the same graphics. It goes down after exposure to cold water, and when warm water comes up, then it goes up again and goes down, cold, warm, cold, warm, cold, warm. And then I did it, same. I didn't do anything. Why? Because I am in command of my breath. And with that, I become in command over my alchemy. And I'm able then to send and to manipulate any part of my body. They looked inside the brain, and whereas normally stress comes to work on the body, and that could be cold, could be heat, but could also be emotion. Depression, bipolar, anxiety, fear, PTSD, trauma, it's all stress in the brain. And it gets inflamed. And we don't know how to break the loop. Now they looked inside of my brain while this stressor was going on, and I stayed out of the stressor. When the cold came in, I just stayed over there, and warmth, cold, warmth. I stayed in control. And then they looked inside the brain, and whereas normally the activity of the stress is highlighting the prefrontal cortex, the conscious brain, because it's cold. Oh, I feel bad because I'm divorced now, and this and that, and my business is gone, and whatever, stress, real stress. And then the insular, which is normally active, very activated. When you go into deep meditation, then the insula gets more red, and then this is blue because deactivates the normal daily consciousness, and blood flow goes in the deeper parts of the brain. Suddenly it becomes all active, and it's pleasant, it's nice, euphoric. The stress coming to my body did not make my prefrontal cortex active. And then they saw something very remarkable, which is a robust activation of the PAG, which is part of the brain stem, that is the deepest part of the brain, the fight and flight, the survival, but also the area of the hormonal periaqueductal gray hemisphere, which is responsible for the activation of opioids. And we got an epidemic on opioids, isn't it? But we don't know how to tap in and to make these opioids work for us against, it's like pain killing, analgesia, natural ones, very strong inside of us. We lost the connection, but now it is here. And the other one is the euphoric hormones, the cannabinoids, endocannabinoid system. Both are there, and they saw me activating for the first time in medical science robustly into that area. That's why it did not only solve the stressor from not being cold, it was warm. And the professors, they had a difficult time putting more ice in the water because I was warming up the water and I was doing nothing. That is the power of our mind. And what I can do, anybody is able to do. So, when people are depressed or bipolar or anxiety or fear or trauma or PTSD, it is stress, and they cannot break the loop. I tell you, we found the key to break the loop. That's where I am right now with the science. And now this needs to be implemented for those in need. And there are many, many in need. Any stressor emotionally and physically and mentally, whatever you come up, we are built to be able to oppose that, to get through and to learn and not to be afraid, because we have the power of the mind. They say 20% of our brain is working. F that, man. It is 100%. And we got the innate capacity to enter into any part of our brain. And now we have shown to get into the deepest. And with that, we become the commanders of our own mind. And I'm a dropout from school. I'm teaching professors and doctors now all over the world. And they say, after seeing the results of me in the brain scans and the way I activate parts of the brain thought of impossible by humans, they say, this is a transformational technique that will change mental health care. And we see it. The cold is my warm friend.